Welcome, everyone. My name is Pulin Bot, and I'm so excited to introduce Nurali Muhammad to another one of our web series on hybrid meetings. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Teams Room licenses. Nurali, I've prepared a few questions for you that you'll see here in the slide, but welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, the first question that I have is really around the benefit of Teams Room license. And when you talk about that, can you talk a little bit about why we need them, what they are actually? Because I don't know if everybody knows what Teams Room license is, let alone any license, right? So just kind of walk us through a little bit about what the benefits are, what that license actually entails, what does it give us access to, that type of thing.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, and let me give you a little background. So the Teams Room license are special licenses designed specifically for, conference rooms, right? Now, traditionally, you and I, as employee of UTD and students, have a Microsoft Teams, Microsoft 365 license tied to us that gives us the ability to use Outlook, Word, Excel, on a daily basis, their core application, right? Now, Teams Room licenses are a little bit different because they are tailored to our hybrid meeting experiences and unifying devices that are in the meeting space, right? And as Microsoft continues to develop, we will see, and I hope we will see newer and future-rich capabilities that come out. As we're using this and we're getting used to this, one of our favorite feature right now has really become the ability to auto start the meetings.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a really neat feature, and I definitely want to ask you about that. That's on my list here. But before we get to that, talk to me a little bit about the cost. How much does a Teams license cost? Do I need a separate one for like each conference room I have? Let's say I have 5. Do I need 5 different conference room licenses? And if I don't want to pay for the Teams Room license, can I get by without it?
Yeah, good question too. So there is a cost, and it's about around roughly $200 per license per year. So now if you have multiple conference rooms in your area, there'll be one license tied to one conference room. And that will cost you around $200, right? Now, if you like to use this feature, you also have to make sure that you have the Teams Room enabled equipment as well.
Yeah.
So there's a hardware requirement there too, and not just a license piece, right? So just keep that in mind. I believe, Pulin, you also have done a video on explaining some of that in detail. So it'd be our folks who are watching this would be a good idea for them to also look at that video as well. But if you don't get the room license, that's still okay. You can still use the hardware and connect manually, right? And what does that mean manually? So there's a little more manual intervention tied to this by it's not just your seamless experience. So you'll have to do more than just one click to get the same experience.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. And I guess, that's, part of that experience that you were talking about is auto start. So
That's
tell us a
correct.
little bit about auto start and that feature, because that seems to be one of the crowd favorites right now.
Yeah, it is, and it's it's pretty seamless. It's a very neat experience. So traditionally, as we going into a room and dialing into a meeting, like we used to. I'm sure some of you remembered, and you did a call me back option there. You made sure the conference room was closer to you. You got your laptop there. There's a lot of manual things that you had to do. But with Teams Room license, all you need to do is walk in with your laptop. Granted, you have your Bluetooth feature on because it uses that feature to give you that seamless experience. It will recognize the room and start the camera, the audio, and the mic, and as well as join all the other folks remotely to this conference room. And you're familiar with the traditional screen where it gives you the pop-up meeting options where we have the room audio, as you pointed out here on the screen, and it shows that it's connected to the room's audio. Also shows the conference room, and it gives you a join now button. As soon as you
Yeah.
join that, it will include that
Sorry.
room.
So really the difference is that, traditionally right now, if I were to get on my laptop and join a Teams meeting, it, uses my computer audio or my headset or things like that. So all this is doing is streamlining that process, and it automatically, because of that Bluetooth feature, discovers that, hey, you're near, in this example that you have, it's the Rock Guadalupe conference room. So it automatically found that, and it joins it. Now, it says room audio suggested. So is that, so is it just audio, or if I have a video capable Teams hardware in there, it will join the video and the audio?
That is correct. It will recognize everything. So how Teams license works is it takes the team room license and it ties it to the resource and also the hardware. Now, if you have a C60 conference room there, you have the bar, X15 bar there also connected to the TV. It ties all of that as one package. And as soon as you hit join me now, it takes that room audio and connects all those pieces together seamlessly and gets you involved in that meeting.
That's awesome. Yeah. So no more finding those dongles for my Mac and then connecting HDMI cables to it, and no more, all those cables and click shares and HDMI cables and things like that. So that's great. So it's all just, and I guess the reason why we don't need those is because just like in a regular Teams meeting, I could just share, we'll just share that on the TV. You'll share it with the remote people everywhere, right?
That is correct. Yeah,
awesome.
You don't have to, all those roll-up HDMI cables and all of that stuff that we had to worry about in the past, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, so we kind of talked about sharing. So can you talk a little bit about that, the elimination of additional sharing?
Yeah, and you mentioned some of that already as well, right? So before you had to have, obviously you still have to turn the TV or the projector on, but once you have that, right, you don't have to worry about your conference room and dialing back. You don't have to worry about the HDMI cable plugged into your computer. You don't have to worry about those pieces, those rolled up HDMI cable just lying around, or, like you mentioned, the click share. You don't have to do any of that stuff. All you have to do is make sure the TV's on. You walk into that room. And it's a seamless process. Will recognize that you're here in this conference room and you have currently you have a meeting schedule, and all you do is click on join me, and all those pieces will come together automatically with Teams license.
Yeah, and I think in a conversation we were having earlier, you mentioned that the closed captioning and all those things will just show up on the monitor, right? Because the brain's actually usually in the X50 bar or one of those hardware. So that you kind of get that same experience in the meeting room as you do if you're remotely watching it on your computer. So you kind of have the same options.
Yep. I was just going to add that. Yep. If someone is hybrid and shares their screen, it's the same. They will have the same experience. So it's really streamlines the whole meeting room experience, right? It just pulls it all together for you.
A really nice, concise way. Well, thank you, Nurali, so much for spending time with us today. This was really helpful. And if anybody has questions or they want to know about how to get a Teams Room license, how do they do that?
Great. They can as easy as call the help desk, 2911, and open a ticket, or go to our Atlas portal and put in a ticket.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nurali.
And thank you for having me for Teams meeting video license experience.